guys, Tim Wilson UK here, and back with another video in the series Meet the Creator. Today we've got CSU Golfer with us, and he's going to be joining me for a round. And if you want to say hi.
Hey Tim, thanks for having me, man.
That's all right, not a problem. And yeah, welcome along. And what course are we going to be playing today?
We're going to play Invitational Golf Club, the HD version that I just released about a couple weeks ago.
All right, so let me see if I'm just going to go to the search bar, and I think I've actually played it myself already, but I'm just going to go to the search bar just to show everybody how you would find this particular course. So it's Invitational Golf, is it?
Correct, yeah, Invitational Golf Club HD.
Yeah, I've got it. So currently it's got 7.3 rating, 34 plays, 18 holes, 3 par 3s, 12 par 4s and 3 par 5s. If I go on to the next screen, I can actually see, yeah, so CSUGolfer69. And let's get into this one here. Do you know what the lowest score currently is on this course?
I don't. I didn't see it as I went in.
Okay.
I think I saw 7 under, but I can't remember.
Okay. I mean, I know from playing this myself, it's a pretty tough course. I mean, do you want to give the viewers a bit of an idea of what the inspiration was for this while I just get onto the first tee?
Yeah, for sure. I think most people who've played it probably see that a lot of the holes are kind of modeled like Augusta National. You know, there's huge fairways. You can hit it pretty much anywhere on this track, but you know, it's still a fairly tough course because there's a lot of slopes in the greens. You got to kind of navigate correctly. And even if you're in the fairway, a lot of the time if you have the wrong angle on the pin, it's going to be tough to make birdie or even par sometimes. So you definitely got to hit it straight. You got to pick your lines pretty good, plan it out well.
All right, so I'm on the first tee here. It normally drops the person in the friends list into the game after the first shot. So if we both take our tee shots here, I don't know whether you can see me on your
Actually,
game.
yeah, it says you're live now. So
yeah, so yeah, and you've just dropped into mine, so that's great. So effectively
Perfect.
Now we're going to be playing around together. You'll see my ghost ball and vice versa. So standing on the first tee here, this, I mean, to me. And I mentioned this when I played it the last time because I was recording this with a couple of Steam friends of mine, and we played this together. It massively, even though it's quite weird that you say that it was modelled roughly on Augusta, it reminds me so much of a links course.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, I try to keep, I think if you go through most of my courses, I do very, very little planning. Probably the amount of trees that I added to this course was somewhere in like 10 or 15. That's all the objects I added to it. So I want to kind of give you enough room to play the golf course. You know, I mean, you can hit it a lot of different places here.
Yeah.
But you have to hit it in the right place in the fairway to have a good shot in. And if you know, even if you kind of take an aggressive line at places, like even on number 1 here, you take it right at that bunker, you can end up in that fairway, but it's a lot more narrow. If you get in that bunker in the rough on the right side, it's going to be tough to get close to the hole.
Yeah, and I think I am just, no, I think I'm going to be shy. I hit a 97% to there, so I think I'm going to be shy of the bunker, but I can see what you mean. I mean, I had 7 mile-an-hour wind behind, and I'm totally flush in line with that bunker on the left-hand side. But there's a lot of rolling hills here, and I would imagine side hill shots pose more of a problem than anything else on this.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one of the things I wanted to do with this place was you're never going to have a flat lie or be able to just airmail it right onto the pin and stop it. So you're going to have to think about every shot you play. There's a lot of slope in the greens. They're still relatively firm, too. So even if you land one by the pin, it's going to roll out the pin. So you're definitely going to have to plan on every shot correct.
So, I mean, you've been creating since day one, I take it then, yeah?
I have, yeah. I pretty much downloaded the first day, and I got right to it. And my first course I made was that stadium course. Which by now looks just pathetic, but you know, I've had a lot of practice since. I've learned a lot about it. So
how many courses have you got at the minute then?
I think I've got I think 9 total, because the desert course with Tomahawk, that was the only one that I didn't create 2 courses for. Now I have the 2 links courses, which are, you know, unreleased, or technically the links theme hasn't been released yet. But,
sure, yeah.
Yeah, those 9 total, 2 from each one, and then 1 for desert.
So do you want to give everybody? Hang on a sec. That's just. Oh, I thought I was going to chip that in. So do you want to sort of as many as you can possibly remember? If you the final versions, do you want to rattle them off for the people that are watching, just so they can they can reference them and give them a go?
Absolutely, yeah. The two autumn themed courses are Invitational HD and then Grand Vista Golf Club. The two alpine courses are Blue Valley and Great Lakes Resort. The rural courses are Helensburgh and Ross Hollow. The desert course is Tomahawk, and the two links courses are the Kings Island, New, and Full.
Okay, cool, cool. I mean, I've played all of those, and I've got to admit, I mean, they are some of the nicest courses in the game. But
I appreciate it.
I mean, you've been doing this from day one. I mean, do you play golf yourself? Are you a golfer?
Yeah, I do. I do play a lot of golf. I think I've always really enjoyed course design too.
Yeah.
So this. I'm sure a lot of guys a lot of people who bought this game are kind of going through the same thing. But it's really a dream come true to be able to kind of work on a golf course and design it like that. Never really had tools like that. Maybe back with I think Links 2003 had a good tool, but I didn't have the patience for that. So it's been kind of cool.
So, I mean, I've asked some of the other guys this question, and I'll throw it out there to you as well, because it's something that comes up quite regularly in conversation when I'm playing the game with friends of mine. And is that, do you see this as a game, or do you see it as a simulation in its sort of purest form?
I see it as a simulation. Actually, I think if any golf game, I guess technically that I've played any time, I feel like this one kind of mirrors the real life game the best, honestly. I really do. I think there's parts of the short game that they being able to hit flop shots on demand here that are a little unrealistic, but for the most part, the physics, the wind, the unpredictability of everything in this game is pretty cool. I think it mirrors real life pretty well.
Yeah.
And I think the way you can tell that is you can design realistic courses and have them play just like they would in real life. You wouldn't in Tiger Woods, you wouldn't see guys shooting 66 or 65 to score on this course, So I think that's pretty cool.
All right, I'm struggling a bit here because I just hit it about 10 feet from the pin and it's just rolled back off the green, but that serves me right for putting a lot of elevation on it. So just give me a sec, I'll be right with you. Just finish this hole off.
Yeah, number two's there's not much to it, but I can bite you if you don't hit your second shot circle there.
That green is a bit of a beast.
Yeah, that's one I redid pretty well for the HD version. It was even more severe before.
So of the 4 themes that are currently available, obviously you built in the Links theme as well. So let's discount that for the minute, because obviously other people don't have the benefit of being able to use that at the moment. So of the 4 themes that you've built in, what would you regard as your favourite? I
like the autumn theme best, actually. I think I like the variety of the colors. You get the color palette for the trees is really cool. And I just think when you get, just a perfect example, standing on number 3 tee here, when you get the sun hitting the right angles, you can make some really cool looking holes on this thing.
Yeah, I mean the orange and sort of reds of the trees are really, really nice. And I sort of trawl the forums on a daily basis and go into the course discovery section and the course designer, and whenever there's somebody that's putting up some kind of either a competition or a little incentive to actually build courses, everybody says, yeah, I've used the autumn theme.
Yeah.
So how do you think the Links theme will be received?
I can't say it was my favorite out of the 5. I like the fact that there aren't a lot of trees, that you can create a shoreline that looks fairly realistic. But any true Links course really has some tall grass and some gorse, heather grass, and everything. And I felt like that was the one thing that was missing from it, honestly, because without those things, it just kind of feels a little empty.
Yeah, that was one of the things. I mean, you said you watched Camshaft's video, Stephen Cameron, because he's quite keen to get on the Links, and he was talking about the long grass, the fact that you have this sort of really long wavy grass that you get on Links courses. So you've used the course designer I would imagine post the new edition, the Greg Norman edition.
I have, yeah. Okay. I'm pretty excited with some of the things you can do. It's going to take a lot longer to design a course, I can tell you that, but it's pretty cool some of the real flexibility you have to create courses now is pretty amazing. So I've already started a couple projects at this point, but they're going to take a long time to finish because there's a lot more to do.
Okay, and what are the? I mean, some of the. I mean, you've used. I would imagine you've used every tool in the game, in the actual designer creator, so to speak. So, what are the things at the moment that you would like to see come in the future?
I think cart paths is probably a good example. I'm sure everybody's talking about that right now. That'll add a final touch to the whole, kind of to shape them a little better. That will definitely go a long way. Just the things that are really available in the final build too, T markers, the extra objects and everything that's going to make it feel more like a real golf course. And then when we talk about the links theme, for example, having some sort of long grass that doesn't absolutely kill the performance of machines, that's one of the reasons I don't use a lot of it, because the laptop I'm playing on can't handle a lot of that. So I try not to go crazy with objects, but if there's some kind of compromise you can find to create some thicker grass, I think that would go a long way too.
So you say on this particular course, I mean, you mentioned it when we were standing on the first, that on this particular course you didn't plant many trees yourself, but so does that mean that you really turned the dial up on the trees when you started, or did you build the course and then dial the trees up afterwards?
No, I turned it all the way up. I knew I was going to want to create a pretty hilly course with a lot of trees, but I'm gonna widen the landing areas and everything. So really the goal when I'm designing a course is to get the land as perfect as I can before I even start dropping anything on it. And then it makes it a whole, if you can create a natural looking course when you have a plot of land that you like, it's going to take a lot less work later on, and it's going to look a lot more natural to begin with.
So your process then, is it always the same every time you create, and do you always sort of start with a fresh bit of land and use the dials that are available, i.e., water, hills and trees and so on and so forth, or do you start with a completely level patch of ground and then start building the terrain yourself?
No, I do it just like you would in real life. I get the plot of land the way I want it before I start dropping any holes, and then hopefully if I have a plot that's going to work well, I just start dropping holes on it, and the least amount of work I have to do to shape a hole after I've dropped it, the better.
Yeah. Okay.
So actually, really, yeah. I mean, like for Invitational, I barely did any real landscaping on this besides like flattening out fairways and shaping fairways and stuff. I really just spend most of my time dropping a tee, dropping a green, and trying to get the hole to look natural without even doing the work.
Okay, cool. Yeah. All right, I'm struggling at the moment. You're kicking my ass at the minute, so I just need to...
Oh, I've played it a few times, so...
I've been in the bunker as well on this one, so just give me a second. I'll be with you in a minute. So, I mean, one of the things I'm interested in, because I've spent a lot of time in South Africa, and one of the things that intrigued me was the name of your course, the Pilanesberg Golf Club. And that comes from a place that's just outside of Sun City.
Yeah,
Am I right?
You caught me.
I don't know whether anybody else has picked you up on that, but I've actually played the Pilanesberg Golf Club. So,
that's funny. Yeah, I didn't think anybody picked up on it, but you definitely got me there.
Okay. And is it? I mean, I couldn't remember because it's been many a year since I played the course. Is it loosely based on it, or is it?
I actually did. I didn't even know there was a golf course there. That was just the name of a street that my girlfriend recommended to me. She's from South Africa. So.
All right.
You definitely picked up. You know a little more about it than I do there.
All right. So what kind of things are the people of the community going to be looking forward to then with regards to courses? Because you're a big real, what I call real golf course creator. In other words, you tend to steer clear from the fantastical and the unrealistic. You tend to go for things that are what you would go out and be able to walk. Real courses. Are we going to expect more of that, or are we going for something different? Or have you tried to create something that's based on a real course?
I haven't tried anything on a real course yet. I think the tools that we have here, I wouldn't want to create anything that's less than perfect when you're trying to recreate something.
Yeah.
So until we get some sort of way to lay over an image or get terrain data or something like that, I don't think I'm going to be doing something like that in the future. But as far as creating something that's a little more maybe fantasy, I wouldn't say I'm going to go with a fantasy course, but I think the terrain I'm going to be working with is going to be a lot more interesting in the coming months, just because we have tools that allow you to shape it more and do more with fairways and rough. I've already started on work on a new course that I posted a photo to the forum, I think, and it's basically trimming, having holes that go right across the edge of cliffs, and you really couldn't do that before. Have tee boxes that went down to the water, and with cliff sides, and go back up the fairway. But now you can do all that. And it's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. I tell you what, the thing that's got me the most is that they've really pushed the wind up in this latest version, haven't they?
This is the first round I've played with the new wind, so it's definitely going to make this play a lot tougher, especially this hole.
Yeah, I mean, I think the most I've seen thus far is 14 mile an hour, so I got a good bounce off that front edge.
Yeah, one of the funny things about this place, this course in particular that I was trying to design is, first of all, I think it's important to have replayability in a course,
Yeah.
I got the same bounce you did. We have these pins that are tucked close, and there are times when you simply can't get to the hole. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's the thing where you have to step back and say, just like in real life, there are times you're going to get winds or bounces that are going to make it impossible to get close to the hole. So you just have to step back and try to make it par.
Sure. I just watched your second shot, and you played that hole almost identical to what I did. I missed on the right edge as well. So what's your feeling with regards to light? I mean, do you specify the light? Are you interested in that kind of thing? Because I mean, obviously you've got the light fairly low here. Have you got time of day in the morning?
I do. Yeah, the light is really important. I usually try to make the more important holes, the first hole, the beginning holes and the ending holes, into the sun slightly, just because it creates shadows that make the holes look more interesting.
Yeah.
And then on holes that are away from the sun, which kind of makes it doesn't look as good, I try to use more shadows. So I'll usually find there's a lot more trees on those holes to try to catch shadows over the fairway. Just little tricks to try to make it better than it really would look at this point.
Oh man, I am completely. I mean, I suppose the main thing that I like about this course, and this was something that once again came up in conversation when we were playing it, is that it's a tough course. It's a tough golf course. I mean, where does this rank in sort of plays in relation to some of your others? This is the last one you brought out. Is that right?
Actually, this was the last new one I brought out.
Yeah.
But it was actually the third course I designed. And this was, ever since I designed it, I knew it was going to be the toughest course I designed to score well. And that's because I just wanted to make this place have a lot of replay value. You can hit the ball anywhere off the tee, but if you don't play the slope well, play the wind well, you're going to make bogeys out here. So, really the goal is to make it tough, just because I think it's more fun when you play it well. I think it's more fun.
So going back to the question I asked you earlier with regards to game or simulation, do you think by making it difficult and the fact that it is simulation based will give it more replayability than a course that you can score 15, 16 under par on? Absolutely.
And one of the things that I actually learned a lot from watching when you were playing the original Blue Valley and some of the videos that you posted, because I could tell that when you were making bogeys, you were frustrated, and when you were making birdies, you were happy. So if I wasn't challenging you doing that, you really wouldn't have any excitement for either way if you were making birdies, because you'd expect to get a ball in the middle of the fairway and then hit a ball close to 3 feet from the pin, and then tap it in for birdie every time. So if I can create that excitement or create some sort of drama like that, I'm obviously doing a decent job at making an exciting golf course.
Okay, so now I've just done what is probably my biggest bugbear in this game, and I've just chipped in from off the green, hit the flag, and I'm further away from the flag than I was the first time.
Yeah, if they're going to fix anything, that's definitely something they got to fix before the final release. Because you're going to get a lot of those. You know, when you're hitting flop shots, you're going to hit the pin.
Yeah, and I've just done it again. I've done it
Yeah.
twice in a row now, so I'm going to end up, if I can manage to sink this putt, which I haven't done, so I've ended up with a double bogey because I hit the flag twice. So not good. So after 9, I am currently 2 over your even, and I like that because that to me suggests, I mean, it straight away it sort of substantiates what we've just been talking about. It suggests that it's a tough course.
Yeah,
you know, there's no 8 unders, there's no sort of 7 unders after 9 holes. You know, birdieing every single hole, and
yeah,
I like
and
that.
one of the things about designing this game that actually makes it more fun is that every player is on the same level, and you don't have to design courses that can be played by a tour pro and by a 30 handicapper at the same time. You know, we know you're going to be able to hit it 270, 280 off the tee. Go and just snipe that one on. You're going to hit the ball 280 off the tee. You're going to be able to dial in irons from a long way, so you can put pins in the corner of greens and not have to worry about somebody who can barely get off the ground. You know, so it's more fun to design for good players. I can tuck pins, I can make the fairways run firm, the greens can run firm. It can be a challenge.
So did you create this course very differently to some of your others, or do you always have the same sort of ethos as when you're creating one course to the next?
No, honestly, going into Invitational, I knew I was going to create the type of course it was where I just widened the fairways to their maximum on every hole. That was kind of the theme I had going into the design. But I try to do that with every design. You know, with Blue Valley, I wanted a course that could host the U.S. Open, for example. You know, tough. It's going to demand good tee shots, good approach shots. Great Lake is an easier golf course because it's designed as a resort course. It's designed as one that it's going to look good rather than play tough.
Yeah.
Invitational was designed to test you on your second shot and test you your planning ability. You know, how to play to the right part of the fairway and not just take where I give you to aim every time.
Okay, so we've had a brief chat about whether you consider yourself a designer or a gamer, and by your own admission, you say that you much prefer the design side of the game to the actual playing of the game itself. However, through the design process, you would have had to have played these holes over and over and over and over again.
I've played them a fair share, yeah. The only thing that I don't know at this point is the new wind system, but I'm getting some friendly winds here, so it's making it a little bit easier. But yeah, I've played these holes, 1,000 times.
So what's probably your biggest sort of bugbear in the game from a playing perspective and also from a design perspective at the moment? You know, where do you see the limitations in the game?
That's a good question. I think that as far as limitations, I do feel actually like there's a lot of stuff that we really haven't even discovered yet, ways to make the designer work for you. For playing, I guess there's some inherent limitations just because everybody's on the same playing field, hitting the ball the same distance off the tee. Everybody's got the same accuracy. But I think if anything, it's probably the ability of flop shots to kind of be too accurate at this point. It's too easy to get the ball close to the pin from short-sided, so that kind of affects how you play these courses,
Okay, so that probably leads me on to onto my next question quite nicely, and that is, during the game, do you have any particular shots that you prefer or prefer not to use?
I don't work the ball very much, left to right or right to left. I tend to play straight balls, just because I feel like it's a little tougher to hit a good solid shot when you're trying to fade or draw it. I don't want to lose distance just because I'm trying to work it.
Yeah.
But the flop shot is one I pretty much chip all the time with a flop shot.
Yeah.
So it makes it a little easier to get up and down, probably when it shouldn't, honestly, because the ball spins a lot. But that's just one thing that I'm sure we'll keep dialing in, and it'll evolve and it'll get better.
It's quite interesting that you say that, and you probably noticed it if you've watched the previous 2 videos. Is that that seems to be a theme that runs through this game at the moment, is that, you know, you have your drive and you have your long irons from the fairways, but when you're in and around the green, when you've got anything from sort of 40 yards down to 5 yards, people just aren't using the pitch shot or the chip shot because they are not realistic enough. They don't sort of play like they would really. The pitch shot rolls on too far, the chip shot's too unpredictable, and people are using flop shots, so on, you know, as I do, on 5-yard shots, just to try and stop the ball.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, I think, I mean, the chip and the pitch, I don't think they need to dial back the roll too much, maybe a little bit, but the flop shots definitely need to be more unpredictable with the way they come out, I guess. Just to make sure your accuracy, I mean, you know, I guess in real life, a flop shot, you're definitely not going to back the ball up like in this game. You know, you're still going to get some rolls just because there's not enough velocity on it. But
well, the thing is, in the real life, the flop shot's one of the hardest ones to play, and it's the most risky shot you can probably play around the green, because unless you hit it absolutely spot on, it can go bloody anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, and that's you know, it's definitely gonna change how these courses play. Like in this place, I made a lot of roll-offs around the green, you know, to challenge you. If you miss a green in the wrong place, it's gonna roll good 15 yards away from the pin sometimes. But when you can, you know, fly the ball 30 yards and stop on a dime, it's not going to make as much of a difference. So.
Yeah. So I'm clawing it back slowly. I'm back to 1 over, but you seem to be on a bit of a roll at the moment. You've got you had 3 birdies on the bounce, haven't you?
Yeah, you know, I think I've just got. I don't know. Are we playing the same wind right now, or is it?
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing that's changed in the new update, which is 1.0, is that we now have what is known as global wind. So the wind that you see, and your second shot should be 7 miles an hour from the right.
That's right.
Is exactly the same as what I see.
Okay. I was going to say it's probably more favorable to have the wind we have right now for some of these holes, but I think I'm just I'm used to the slopes that I got around the greens here, how to feed it into the hole correctly.
So I mean, and this is it was something that cropped up quite a lot in conversation on forums, was the fact that, you know, I could be playing alongside you, you know, watching a live ball trail coming into the green, but you would have a 7 mile an hour wind behind, and I would have a 6 mile an hour wind into my face. So it was just, you weren't, I suppose, you know, you talk about the golfers having this level playing field. I think that the environment needed to have a level playing field as well, and I think that they've done well to actually change that. Absolutely.
At least when you're playing live with somebody, I can see the wind being different if you're not playing live. But when you're playing with somebody else head-to-head, I think it's important to have the same thing, definitely.
So now I'm probably going to end up dropping a shot here now.
This hole's kind of a good example. You know, it really has no fairway bunkers. It has no bunkers on the entire hole.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you still got to play the slope correctly and you know, play it away from the hole to get the ball to end up near the hole. So that was kind of one of the things I was trying to accomplish with this design.
So now I spoke too soon, and I've ended up with a double bloody bogey. Just as I thought I was getting my act together with a birdie on the previous hole. Yeah, I noticed that. There's not, I mean, apart from a couple of holes where there's, you know, some really nasty pop bunkers, like smack bang in the middle of the fairway, you haven't used a lot of sand on this course.
Nope. When I went back and I redesigned this course, I actually took out about 2/3 of the bunkers, and I decided that every bunker that I was going to have out here was going to be needed. It was going to have a purpose, and it was going to be extremely penal if you hit it inside it. So there's a lot of bunkers out here that are really deep you don't want to get into, but there aren't a lot of bunkers, period. So you just want to avoid the ones that are out here.
Yeah. I have to say, if you had to look at my greens in regulation stats for this round, they would be absolutely shocking. I don't think I have stuck a single green, and I don't think it's anything to do with course or anything. I'm just having really bad course management at the minute. I just cannot make anything stick.
Well, the way I figured is, you know, if you make a course that everybody's going to beat up the first time they go play it, there's really not an incentive to come back. Now, I mean, it might be frustrating to play a course badly, you know, or get a few bad bounces here and there, but at least it gives you incentive to come back and try to birdie these holes again, you know, if it doesn't go right the first time. So that's one thing I was hoping to accomplish with a design like this, where it's playing extremely tough. Oh boy, just slice that one dead.
So having a lot of courses out there with your name attached to them, and having thousands of plays on your courses, which you do have, I suppose you must feel the added pressure when creating a new course to try and live up to that now, I suppose, because you've got to be probably the person that's got the most plays on your courses.
You know, first of all, it's flattering that everybody really, has played these so much. It's really it's fun to design for a group of people, and seeing everybody enjoy them so much is really great. The funny thing is, though, like when I'm designing courses, I'm not really trying to one up the previous one. I'm just picking an idea and just kind of rolling with it until it's finished. So it might be something completely different than the other courses. It's like when I got into that links course, for example. I knew starting the first one that I was going to design 2 of them, but I figured why not make them kind of both the same theme. The old course was kind of had simple round pot bunkers most of the time, extremely undulated greens, more like a St. Andrews or a typical links course.
Yeah.
And then the new course is a little more modern in its design. So I kind of just made those both into their own little things, but they were both connected with the Kings Island name. So I don't know. It's just kind of like one individual idea at a time. I'm not really trying to make one better, and that's the only problem I have with course design contests too. I'm flattered that those guys put me in that desert design contest and everything, and Tomahawk ended up winning it. But I also think golf courses are just the other corner. I think golf courses are more art than science, and you have to be proud of what you design. You have to stand by it, and every one of them is going to be different, and every designer has their own individual traits. So.
Yeah. So I'm actually embarrassing myself at the moment because I'm now 4 over, and I haven't shot a 4 over. I haven't shot an over par round in a while. So this is testament to exactly how tough this course is.
Yeah, I'm having my own problems at the moment too. I bogeyed the last 2, and I'm about to double here in 16.
Yeah, I'm still in the middle of the fairway on 16. So and did you go in the drink? Did you go in the water?
I did, yeah. I had about a 100-yard shot, and I hit it in the water right.
Oh no!
Oh, sorry, I had
97%.
Yeah. 5 over in my last 4 now.
Oh, I got a lucky bounce. I can pick up a birdie. I got a lucky bounce right on the fringe in front of the hole. All right, let me see if I can rein this back into 3 over and take it to at least the last 2 holes. Yes, 1 between us now. Wow, you were 3 under at one stage.
I know, yeah, I'm collapsing coming in here. So.
3 birdies on the bounce and then a load of red numbers. I can sympathise.
I mean, I've only played these holes about 1,000 times each, so it's not,
So what kind of courses do you like to play then? I mean, you say you haven't played an awful lot, but what kind of courses do you like to sort of try out the fantasy type ones for a bit of variation, or do you just like to stick to the realistic courses?
Oh, I'll try anything. I'm just not very good at designing fantasy courses because I've spent most of my time working on realistic ones. But I'll try any of them really. I think it's pretty fantastic. All these courses that the communities come out with. That's what's going to make this game and this designer kind of last a long time. All the designers I'm seeing on the forums, for example, they've all got their individual traits, which are really cool to see. So it's been pretty cool.
It's quite interesting you say that because just Yeti as an example. I mean, his trademark is massive, is big rocks.
Yeah.
And the reason he uses big rocks is because of a flaw in the game. The fact that you put lots and lots and lots of little rocks absolutely canes the graphics card, and you struggle to play it on the highest level. So he just puts these big rocks in it, and that's almost become his trademark across all of his courses. So it's quite nice that people tend to have it's almost like an individual course creating identity.
Absolutely, just like Pete Dye and his railroad ties. It's everybody has their own kind of characteristics in their design, and they don't necessarily, you don't live by them, you don't put them on every hole out there, but when you see it, you're seeing a course by that designer. So it's pretty cool that everybody's taking their own little characteristics and identity.
So now, if I wanted to win this now, I've got this. I tell you what, this is what I would regard as a cracking finishing hole, because this is risk or reward, isn't it?
Yep, and I'm right next to you here, so.
We got 250. I've got 259 to the flag. 7 mile an hour coming off the left.
I think I'm going to see what you do first.
I got a 3-wood in my hand. If I don't get 100%, I know I'm in trouble here. So, all right, let's see what I'm going to do. I'll take that. I'll take that.
Oh, nice shot. I think if I went for it out of the rough here, I'm going to go in the water. So
Are you in the rough?
Yeah, I just dribbled through it. So.
I probably would have been a little more hesitant if I was in the rough.
So I'm in position to hit a wedge, but it's going to be tough from this angle. That bunker's pretty tight to the left there.
Mind you, my eagle putt was simply shocking. So bad so that it's rolling back towards me.
Oh boy.
So the risky shot, the risky approach shot, really did not pay dividends.
I need some wind help here. Come on. Oh, sit down. Sit down. Oh no, stay there. All right, I'm on the up here.
Oh my goodness, I am making a proper hash of this. I'm now putting for par, and I'm still 24 feet away from the flag. I have made a right, as we would say in the UK, pig's ear of this one.
Well, I'm going to tap in for par here, Tim. So.
Oh, roll! No! So I bogeyed the last on the green for 2, and I end up with a 6. That is shocking. So I finished with a round of 75. I don't know whether that's bettered my last one. I think I got an even round last time I played this. So, yeah, +2 for you, so you win the round. 65's the best score on this. So that is, well, it's 7 under par, isn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty solid out here. Yep, that's a good round.
Yeah. I know my best round is 75, so that was my best round. So I must have been worse than that first time round.
Well, there's another handful of guys that are under par still, so it's pretty solid.
Yeah,
a couple 600s, 5 under 4.
Global score. Yeah, global score. There's a fair few 66s and a few 60. There's 167 in there, but yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
My friend, thank you very much for joining me. And
absolutely, thanks for having me, Tim.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'm sure. When you get some new ones, so you say you've got some new ones in the pipeline now. When there's some new ones on the horizon and you're ready to publish, as you do, I'm sure that people would like to see you back on in the series to talk through another course. But thank you once again for joining me, and I look forward to having you again on soon.
Absolutely, Tim. Thanks for having me.
All right. Cheers.